Strength is an attribute that people respect, and well, this guy has earned us none on the global stage, but because of the new guy coming in, it looks like we may be earning it all back. Ladies and gents, welcome back on this beautiful Friday morning. I hope everybody's doing well. We have a lame duck prime minister. We are in a situation where the world is looking at us with laughter, looking at us saying, Canada, what in the heck are you doing? Get rid of that guy. And believe me, we're trying. And there is someone else that has jumped on the stage and said, I'm going to be the next guy. And hey, have a look at what we're going to do moving forward in Canada. This is, of course, the new prime minister, the next prime minister of Canada, Pierre Poilievre, and he's coming forward and he's saying some bold things, and it's great. And a lot of Canadians are cheering it, and now Americans are actually cheering for this.
This is the message that I have for the Americans, by the way. The days of us just handing over our businesses and our jobs because of our economic vandalism by this big, fat, money-hungry government in Ottawa are over.
They're over. Those days are over. And this is the kind of strength that people have been wanting to see out of Canada. And it goes for the Americans as well. The Americans are saying, come on, why you have this pansy as your leader? We're just going to toss you around. And guess what? Trump jumps in and he's been doing that. The threat of 25% tariffs, the threats of taking over Canada and making it the 51st state. Now, that's not actually going to happen. These are jokes, obviously, but it's a ribbing that Canada needs because we need to get into shape, folks. We do need to get into shape. And it looks like it's working on the campaign trail as Pierre Poilievre is making some bold moves. Now, they have even drawn the attention of the left with the higher of respect. We're talking about The Daily Show. The notable leftist media outlet is commenting about Pierre Poilievre and saying, we like this guy.
Trudeau didn't resign just to make it easier for Trump to take over Canada. The fact is he resigned because he's very unpopular now. And if he ran again, he'd have to face this guy, Pierre Poilievre. He's the leader of the Conservative Party. And based on this interview, he's a pretty intimidating dude.
On the topic, I mean, in terms of your sort of strategy currently, you're obviously taking the populist pathway.
What does that mean?
Well, appealing to people's more emotional levels, I would guess. I mean, certainly you tap. A lot of people would say that you're simply taking a page out of the Donald Trump book.
Like which people would say that?
Well, I'm sure a great many Canadians, but
like who?
I don't know who, but
well, you're the one who asked the question, so yeah. You must know somebody.
God damn, that's a power move. I haven't seen someone dominated like this since I watched Baby Girl. Tell you what, America's not getting Canada from him. Get on your knees. You're our province now.
So obviously making fun of the situation, but why was The Daily Show even covering this in the first place? This is the question that usually comes up. Why would they do that? Well, it turns out it's because of online activity. The online world has been blowing up about Pierre Poilievre on the American side, and it's amazing. So this is a streamer, a video game streamer, believe it or not, one of the biggest in the world, Asmongold TV, and he does react content from now and then and post this up on YouTube. And one of this react content was him reacting to Pierre Poilievre's interview of this. Now, it garnered 1.571 million views at this time of recording this video. It's big. This is when the news media, this is when the legacy media jumps in and starts covering these stories, i.e. the Daily Show, commenting on it. But this is what Asmongold had to say. I'll just throw a short clip of this.
Yes, I mean, certainly you tap very strong ideological language quite frequently.
Like what?
left wing, this and that, right wing. I mean, it's that type of ideological thing.
I never really talk about left or right.
Anyways, a lot of people.
I don't really believe in that.
Okay, a lot of.
I like this guy. Yeah.
People would say that you're simply taking a page out of the Donald Trump book.
Like which people would say that?
Well, I'm sure.
I really like how people are calling out journalists so journalists do this thing where they say a lot of people are thinking this or a lot of people are saying this. And then whenever they mean that, they're not actually talking about a lot of people. They're talking about them. Yeah, it's extremely annoying. Like, yeah, hey, we're going to create this narrative, and now you have to address the narrative that we've just invented.
Sound familiar? I've been talking about this since the Freedom Convoy back then when we started talking about politics in Canada. That's right. This is a narrative spin. This is how journalists do this. They insert their own opinion. They say, some people say, and that's code for, here's my narrative. Now defend yourself over this. It's beautiful. I love seeing other people notice this, point this out, and of course, point it out all the time. It's amazing. Thank you, Asmongold, for making this a popular issue just by looking for a bit of entertainment to react to. But that's where it is. Now, how is this working out in Canada? Well, for Americans that are paying attention to this, we have a lame duck prime minister, and he's a lame duck because he's announced his intention of resigning. It's a complicated process that is annoying, but we're going to be going to an election soon enough. We just don't know when. And when we do, the polls are looking like this. It's unbelievable. Again, for the American audience out there, the right-leaning candidate, the Conservatives, are blue. So that massive blue bar in there, that is the Conservatives with a landslide vote. And the Liberal Party that Justin Trudeau represents is actually third now, behind the separatists of Quebec, the Bloc Québécois. That's correct. So in the next government, we're going to have a Conservative supermajority with a Bloc Québécois separatist official opposition. That is how things are going to go. The NDP with Jagmeet Singh way down at the bottom there, and of course the Greens, irrelevant largely. Now Justin Trudeau is doing the rounds in the United States because he was down for Carter's funeral, and he's shown up on the news media to do his rounds and embarrass us even more. And even Benny Johnson pointing this out, breaking. Justin Trudeau tells CNN that Canada won't become the 51st state of the United States. That's not going to happen, he says.
Calling you Governor Trudeau, talking about making Canada the 51st state. Did you have any interaction with him today?
No, not today. But that's not going to happen. Canadians are incredibly proud of being Canadian. One of the ways we define ourselves most easily is, well, we're not American. There is such a depth of pride that's not actually an issue. What I think is happening in this is President Trump, who's a very skillful negotiator, is getting people to be somewhat distracted by that conversation, to take away from the conversation around 25% tariffs on oil and gas and electricity and steel and aluminum and lumber and concrete, and everything the American consumers buy from Canada is suddenly going to get a lot more expensive if he moves forward on these tariffs. And that's something that I think we need to be focusing on a little bit more.
Yeah, the tariffs they're a threat. It's an economic standard. See, this is the thing. Justin Trudeau doesn't even understand how negotiation works. But if you think that was a gaffe, him saying that Canada, how we define ourselves is that we're not American. No, he went and he's been saying this. This is actually a campaign strategy of sorts. Here's gov.exe posting this one. Trudeau comments to an empty room about becoming the 51st state, saying it'll never happen because Canadians are not Americans. Yeah, that's right.
Bonsoir tout le monde. The issue, of course, of Canada-U.S. relations also came up a number of times today. When it comes to Canada being looked at as the 51st state, let me just state it again, that's never going to happen. Canadians define themselves a whole bunch of different ways, but one of the ways that we all use as shorthand is or Canadian because we're not American.
No, that's not what we use as shorthand, Justin Trudeau. We have a lot of things that define us, and we have a lot of great things. But of course, this is the Liberal Party standing point. This is from their Twitter. For anyone who may be confused, United States, not the United States. Yes, we've been reduced to not the United States. That's the way the Trudeau government sees us, and that's the way things are being pointed out. Now, even Elon Musk is saying perfectly articulated when talking about Pierre Poilievre, who is going to be the next Prime Minister of Canada. This is one of the campaign ads, but this is him just talking to a room of tradespeople that are working Canadians that are just trying to make ends meet and wondering about why is inflation such a big issue for us?
Yes.
What are the steps that need to be taken to fix the damages done to inflation?
First and foremost, stop the overspending. Inflation, high taxes, deficits, high interest rates are all symptoms. The disease is overspending. When governments spend too much money, there's only 3 ways to get it. One is to raise your taxes. The other is to borrow, which means that they'll tax you more later on. And the third way is to print money. Now, printing money seems like a painless way to pay for things, but it's very simple. If you have 10 apples and $10 in the economy, it's a bucket apple. If you double the number of dollars in the economy to 20, you still only have 10 apples. You're not twice as rich, it's just that each apple costs twice as much. And that is a tax on the working people because it chews up the purchasing power of your paycheck.
And your savings, that is a big thing. Links in the description down below if you want to see the whole video in its entirety. But this is the reality. The inflation is actually an added tax. It's a secret tax. It's a tax, and it's a tax that's not representative. They impose this tax, and they don't do it through the parliamentary system, which is how they're supposed to raise taxes. No, they do it unilaterally. The government does it just by spending money that we don't have. By printing and issuing new money and credit in the marketplace, it dilutes your savings. It's robbing your money. This is it's unbelievable that this is something that's been allowed for generations and generations, and this has got to stop. It definitely has to stop. And it looks like we have one guy who's coming in and is earning back the respect on the global stage for Canadians. Let's hope we can get him in soon enough. We're all hoping for an election moving forward. But hey, I want to leave this with you. Leave a comment in the comment section down below. Of course, let me know what you think, and we'll see you tonight in the live stream. I know we've been doing a lot of back-to-back live streams, but tonight's the usual Friday live stream. Come hang out. It's a community event where everyone from the community gathers. We have discussion. It's a lot of Q&A, a lot of directly addressing the audience, a lot of questions. So come on in. That's at 6:30 Pacific time. That's 9:30 Eastern if you're on the other side of Canada. I'm on the West Coast. We'll see you then. And as always, keep on trucking.